when Brittany Bronson pitched I Love Lucy to the students, she was like, this is my memoir.
And Walt Disney was like, what's your memoir?
I Love Lucy.
And he was like, I love
Lucy. Do anything you want with it, but there's this one episode that I think is brilliant. It involved a conveyor belt. A conveyor belt and candy and speed. And then speed was going fast.
Brittany Bronson was like, Dan Hernandez, can you tell me Ricky? And he was like, do you mean Lucy?
Walt Disney was there crying.
He was.
This is gonna make me like $5 million. Sorry, you don't get any of that.
No. And Brittany Bronson was like, Ricky, I'm home.
That's offensive.
Yep.
Dan was definitely in the memoir. Dan has been in the memoir for a couple of years now. He's the band leader.
He had the baton.
He said, you have some explaining to do.
You have to explain to
Brittany Bronson writes for the New York Times.
And also, I Love Lucy.
And also, I Love Lucy. And she comes into my dreams at night sometimes. Like, I've seen her, and she'll walk me around Las Vegas. She'll take me to get a drink, and she's always so well dressed. And then she says, Christine, get your shit together. Love you, Brittany.
Welcome.
Cut.
Brittany Bronson.
I would never say that to you. My dream self is so rude. Okay, so I got 2 rejection letters today, but I washed my hair, so it was a good day. Okay, so I kind of trimmed this story down a bit to fit within the time limit, so there are some jumps, but you all are very smart, so it will be good. So this is called Testimony. Claire's relationship with Jesus begins in kindergarten when the 3rd grade Sunday school class is challenged to find 3 people who have asked Jesus into their hearts. They run through the fellowship in a mob, yelling, "Does anyone? Jesus? Heart? Their hearts?" One boy trails behind, winded, chubby. His hair curls around his ears like encroaching defeat. In her first conscious act of compassion, Claire tells him, "I have," and the boy sprints on toward the sanctuary, renewed. Claire proceeds to the bathroom where she closely examines the color of her pee, which appears more yellow or more off-beige than usual, and says aloud to the toilet paper, "Jesus, come into my heart." That part is completely autobiographical, by the way. By 4th grade, it is clear this particular encounter with Jesus lacks sincerity due to 1, an overt lack of confession, 2, the absence of pleas or any basic sense of politeness, and 3, the close presence of a toilet. But cannot God be everywhere, Claire thinks? Although she is only 9, she pays attention in Sunday school and knows that since God is always everywhere, a toilet is not an unusual place for him to be. Still, the church choir's lead soprano and part-time Sunday school volunteer examines Claire with concern. "Is this the story you want for your testimony?" she asks. "For your life's most important drama of how you came to know the Lord? Can this narrative be told and retold to future Bible studies and summer camps and at your private Christian college orientation?" Claire apologizes for her lack of salvation etiquette, and the woman leads her in a proper sinner's prayer. So Claire continues her relationship with Jesus by amending her poorly thought out beginning of her relationship with Jesus. At 14, Claire transitions from the downstairs room to the large gymnasium across the church parking lot. Here she realizes that all those milk carton crafts and rhyming songs with hand motions were merely practice for her real relationship with Jesus, that in adolescence will not only be tested, but truly commence. The older girls bring their own Bibles in trendy pastel colors, and Claire takes note of the way they flip through the pages, their fingers bookmarking large chunks, the speed at which they find them. On the drive home, Claire mentions to her parents that she'd like to purchase her own Bible, and in the rearview mirror, her father smiles, but her mother launches back, suspicious. "We have plenty of Bibles," she says. "But I'd like my own," Claire says, "that I can write in." At dinner, the new Bible conversation surfaces again as if Claire is requesting a grotesque piercing. "I think we can manage a new Bible," her father repeats, but her mother is adamant, has already gathered every Bible in the house and piled them on the coffee table like the prep work for an after-dinner book burning. She points toward the kindling. "There's 17 Bibles there," she says. Claire rummages through her options. She settles on a woman's study Bible with a floral cover reminiscent of potpourri. Her hand-me-down suffering, though, is short-lived, because the following evening, a brand new lime green Bible sits on the foot of her bed, and upon it, a note from her father. But the Bible brings no joy, only the torment of her mother, who all week bursts into Claire's room mid-quote in verses from Hosea. She rips the Bible from the nightstand, then marches through the house, rubbing her cheek against the leather. By Sunday service, Claire feels the guilt of her betrayal, concludes that she has wiped out any good standing she previously held with Jesus, and when the pastor leads the room in a prayer of confession, asks for those who said the prayer for the first time to raise their hands, Claire does. She hopes someone will ask her how she feels so she can respond with "like new," or some other feeling you get when you become reborn, or reborn. With Claire's newfound recommitted relationship with Jesus, she begins to meet with him on a daily basis before school. She sits at the kitchen table with her Bible, and when distracted, stares at the bowl of lemons her mother uses as a centerpiece. "How did you think of that lemon?" she asks Jesus. "Are they supposed to make my lips pucker into a kiss? After all your time in people's brains, do you remember anyone else besides me who looks at lemons and thinks of making out?" Claire begins to wonder about the differences between thinking and praying, and decides she has merely been thinking. Therefore, her most recent time with Jesus was merely just time with herself. "How do I get better at my time with Jesus?" she asks Jesus or herself, or she is not quite sure, based on the particular reality of God hearing and knowing everything. She wonders if Jesus is more akin to a self-Jesus, who she speaks for and thinks for, and makes really confusing all by herself. "I am so wonderful," she thinks. "My grace, my forgiveness, my unconditional love. No wonder I can't escape it." Omnipresence and omniscience inspires little motivation in Claire to distinguish God from anything. So instead of praying, Claire imagines her way through the challenges of adolescence. To improve her body image, she imagines a picture of her insides, pink ribbons tied around her ribcage, and crystal beads circling her spine like wine stem decorations. When she completes her geology homework, Claire imagines the birth of the mountains outside her window, how the earth forced its plates together until they fissured into rocky peaks. She feels her stomach open up at the image, and her insides, the ribbons and bones, drain into the black hole created by what, Claire wonders. Awe? Doubt? My imagination is swallowing me whole, she imagines, and in time it does. It devours her at 17 when Claire's mother leaves the family for a Mormon elder and a female bank teller. Every Sunday after service, the congregation surrounds her father, inquires about his heart, his mind, and his living in sin ex-wife, failing to mask their curiosity about the strange, unholy trinity. The divorce is finalized in mere months, and her mother, unmarried, living with the elder and bank teller, daily bleaches her undergarments and starts air-drying her uncolored hair. For 2 years, Claire listens to her father's tearful calls, his gentle pleading for his wife to come back home. But to what, Claire thinks? a husband who won't even get angry, who has already absolved her, and an unforgiving daughter full of hate. Stay where you are, bitch, Claire thinks, imagining her mother mid-fall down a cement stairwell. When she sees the head crack, spill over the steps in a runny yoke, she recognizes this is her testimony's crucial climax, the moment when the congregation will tense, when St. Peter will scratch his beard at the pearly gated court of law, and all of them will anxiously wonder, and how will Claire respond to this unfortunate event? She responds by reading philosophy books, by majoring in world religions. She watches her father continue his life in solitude as her mother becomes more radical, her mind an unraveling thread. Soon, Claire discovers that the life she has spent negotiating with her best friend's self-made Jesus is actually of no interest to anyone. Yet she clings to the demise of her religion. Every detail, every slice and edge tells the whole narrative over a 2-hour cup of coffee to a rotation of generous listeners until she tells it the final time to a practical, decent friend. He narrows down Claire's testimony to a story as simple as this. That's called growing up, he says. Claire nods, then cries, then feels dizzy as she grows up, then down, then out, then bursts forward like a cosmic expansion until she is absorbed into the universe, another anonymous member of infinite, beautiful space. Thank you.